In today's video, we have a wonderful movie that is a great telling of the life of the King of Pop. Then we have an unboxing of what can be considered the most excellent duo in movie history. Welcome to the Media Cabinet. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another amazing video inside the Media Cabinet. I got a great unboxing for you guys today. Released today on 4K. We have a great Steelbook that celebrates the life of what can be considered one of the greatest male singers of all time. And I have a lot to talk about it, and I'm so happy to finally have my copy of it. So I can watch it many, many times and never feel upset about it. And same can also be said about an amazing trilogy of what is known as like two of the greatest friends in cinema history. And no, it's not Beavis and Butthead. But I have this franchise on Blu-ray. I saw a really great sale to get this trilogy on 4K, and I jumped at the opportunity. So with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into these 4Ks today. One Steelbook only. That's okay. And the first Steelbook. So when this movie was announced, I think it took a while because they were trying to iron out the details perfectly. They didn't want just some random schmo on the streets to portray this role. And they wanted a director to, do it perfectly. And, when you look at some of the biopics that have came out recently, there's a bunch of them. Of course, Rocket Man is one of my favorites. Taron Egerton portraying Elton John. It even pushed me to go ahead and get Elton's memoir, Me, and I even listened to the audio book, which was read by Taron as he was talking as Elton. I know that there was one with Whitney Houston. Was it Whitney Houston? Yeah. And then I can't remember her name. Amy Winehouse. I know that there was one that came out with that. And then Bob Marley. And there was also one with The Boss and everything, Bruce Springsteen. So there's been a lot of great biopics. Two of them that come to mind, like I said, was Rocket Man. But there was another biopic that came out from this director of this movie. His name is Graham King, and he directed, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, the amazing, powerful story of how Freddie Mercury was discovered and helped create one of the greatest rock and roll bands ever, Queen. And it showed his backstory and his rough uprising from his family, who basically wanted nothing to do with him because of how he acted and his sexuality and everything. And you look at movies like that, like Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man, and you think, well, what's next? What could be next? And we've also seen, not from Graham King, but we have seen a rendition of what his story would have been with Weird, the Al Yankovic story, where, of course, Daniel Radcliffe portrayed Weird Al Yankovic, and that was just a funny story from start to finish. But this particular movie, okay, like I said, they didn't want some random schmo just putting on these shoes and putting on that sequins glove and that famous fedora. They wanted someone who could be Michael. And, Graham reached out to Jafar Jackson, who is the nephew of Michael Jackson. And of course, Jafar at first was like, "Look, I'm not really wanting to get into movies. I'm wanting to do more with music." And Jafar sent Graham a video, and basically Graham got back to Jafar and said, "Look, I'm getting you a trainer, I'm getting you a vocal coach, and I'm getting you the choreography dancer that worked with your uncle, and we're going to get started on this right now." And that's where Michael was born. I experienced this at the Alamo Draft House in here in Charlottesville. I experienced it on Dolby, in the Dolby Vision. And from start to finish, I could not stop smiling and, in my head, just going with the music and everything and dancing in my seat. And I loved it from start to finish. If Michael was alive and if he saw how his nephew performed, he would be absolutely so proud of him from start to finish. And I didn't get the really fancy schmancy one I know that there was one on Amazon, and then this is the Walmart exclusive one. So I really do like, it's a simple Steelbook, but you got Michael there on the front, of course, Jafar, doing one of Michael's iconic poses, and of course this is a Lionsgate Steelbook, so you slide it off, and the slipcover says Michael with Jafar Jackson in gold. Nice, matte feeling Steelbook, and look at that spot gloss of Jafar Jackson with the matte background. And then here we have Michael when he was little with a shadow of what he will become in the future. And we go ahead and open up the Steelbook. And of course there is a digital code, so I will go ahead and redeem that. Oh, I love the artwork on here. I love the disc art here. Look at this. This is beautiful. And of course a look at the inside of the Steelbook itself. So here we have our 4K. And of course this is Universal and Lionsgate. So look at that. That is beautiful. I think how they played out the movie perfectly, leading up to the beginning, that first night of the Bad tour. I loved that. And of course, it says at the end, his story lives on. Because this is not the end. They are working on part 2. And I cannot wait for part 2. Because again, I just think every scene, Jafar put his heart and soul into every single performance that you see. And yes, okay, so I did look up, and they used mixings from Michael himself, but then they also used recordings from Jafar. Which I think is perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. I know when it's still doing amazing at the box office. I think the one thing that some people were annoyed with was that they left out some things in part 1 that people really wanted to see. And I know a lot of people are hoping that what they really want to see is in part 2. But nonetheless, I think it was a fantastic movie. I'm happy to add it to my digital library, to my movie library. Um, and I'll just say this: I look forward to the next time that I watch it again. That's really all I'm gonna say because again, it was that spectacular. Next. So there have been a bunch of duos in movie history, TV history, Scooby Doo and Shaggy Rogers, Batman and Robin, um, Cheech and Chong, Harold and Kumar, Beavis and Butthead, Harry and Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber, just to name a few, you know. Um, but when you think of two of the greatest buttheads of cinema history that are wanting to live their ultimate fantasy of uniting the world with music, and one day they're going to become the great ones, and if they don't submit a paper, all that history will cease to exist. And that is, of course, Bill and Ted. Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and Ted Theodore Logan, also known as Wild Stallions. I love the Bill and Ted franchise, and when I lived in Orlando and I went to Halloween Horror Nights, they would do Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure, and then unfortunately it came to an end in 2017. Yeah, we don't talk about that. I wish they would bring back Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. I loved the show every year that they did it, and it got better and better. But without these movies, that show would probably not exist. And I loved that Shout Factory did this trilogy. Again, I have the trilogy on Blu-ray, and now to have them on 4K, I can't wait to see how crisp they are. Shout Factory is always known for putting out amazing things, 4K scans and everything. Even their Blu-rays are really good too. Of course, Shout Factory, Scream Factory integrated with Groove. So that's where I ended up getting this. And what am I talking about? I should just show it already. This is Bill and Ted's most triumphant trilogy. This is all three movies on 4K. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was already released on 4K, but the third one, Bill and Ted Face the Music, that one released a little bit. I think at first it released on 4K. So basically you have each movie on 4K and Blu-ray, equaling a total of 6 discs. I like Excellent Adventure. Bogus Journey threw me off a little bit. There are some really creepy moments in this movie. In that movie. And then Bill and Ted Face the Music was good to like a certain extent, and some people wish that it could have been a better story, but I didn't hate it nonetheless. I did love it. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and unbox this most triumphant box set. So yeah, I love the artwork on here too. Lots of amazing color. I forget how I came across watching Bill and Ted for the first time. I don't know if I came across it on TV or if I came across it watching it on a digital site. So, you got this J card right here, and it says most aspiracious. All 3 films on 4K, Ultra HD, and Blu-ray. So it goes into description of each three of the movies. There's a new 4K scan of Bogus Journeys from the original 35mm camera negative, a new 4K scan remastered from Face to Music's digital intermediate, presented in Dolby Vision, which of course I can't get because of my beautiful PlayStation 5. Audio commentaries, Time Flies When We Are Having Fun, Bill and Ted Go to Hell, The Most Triumphant Making of, the original Bill and Ted in Conversation with Chris and Ed, the hysterical personas of Bill and Ted, or personages, score, vintage interview with guitarist Steve Vai, air guitar tutorial with Bjorn Torque and the Rockness Monster, vintage EPK, the linguistic stylings of Bill and Ted, the official Bill and Ted Face the Music panel at Comic-Con Home, Be Excellent Each Other, behind the scenes with the cast and crew of Most Triumphant Duo, Social Piece, Excellence, Deb's Crib, and theatrical trailers. This is a presentation from Shout Studios, MGM, Orion, and yeah, that's about it. So there you go, a little. If you want to pause again, even though I've read everything, I'm sorry. And then here's a look at the box set in its entirety, including the back of it. Oh, they really got them packed in there. This is a nice hard box. There we go. Some ASMR. No, I'm not doing that. I really do love the artwork on here. This is a very nice trilogy. So we got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. George Carlin. We gotta love him. Rufus. 4K plus plus Blu-ray. History is about to be written by two guys who can't spell. This is, of course, presented from Shout Select. So on the front, you got the main poster, and then on the back, you got some iconic scenes, including Socrates and Billy the Kid. And I want to just see. Nope, no alternative artwork. I forgot, this is Shout, not Arrow. So you have our 4K and our Blu-ray disc. So on the 4K disc, you got Abraham Lincoln and Beethoven, and then on the Blu-ray, you got, I think that's cavemen. I don't know why they put cavemen, but okay, they got cavemen. And then for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, once they made history, now they are history. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. This is number in the Shout Studios. This is number 162. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was number 139. What I love about this movie is the cool montage at the end with that amazing God gave rock and roll. And you see the montage of everything with Wild Stallions. Or, no, that's the first one. The first one showed that amazing montage with God Gave Rock and Roll. This one was another one. This, I love on the back here, it says Wild Stallions Rise Again. So on the back you do have some scenes, including Station in his full form. Station! And on the inside, we have the 4K disc with the Nomalos and, of course, the Grim Reaper. That's what I love because of this one. I love the Grim Reaper. What's his name? William Sadler. Yeah, that's his name. I love him in this, and then of course I like Station. But the whole like possession scene was really weird too, and with like the robot evil Bill and Ted's, that was weird, and the movie's just creepy. And then of course we have Bill and Ted Face the Music. This is number 163 with Shout Studios. And I love the newer logo and everything, and of course their daughters. Most Triumphant. Designed with the film lover in mind, shouts select. I'm not reading all that. And then, of course, we see some scenes including Kid Cudi, William Sadler again. Kid Cudi. This one was just weird. But not like weird, but it's like you have the, what was it, the wife of Rufus. She sends out a robot to stop Bill and Ted because the world is ending, and so again, I did not hate this one at all, but it was really weird, just like Bogus Journey. So, well, there you have it, folks. So we have, of course, Bill and Ted's Most Triumphant Trilogy, which includes all 3 Bill and Ted movies, and then, of course, the amazing Michael Steelbook. So, I love both of these items that I got today. Still got a really, really fun unboxing coming up very, very soon from Amazon and from Arrow Video. You guys may have already seen some unboxings on it. It is the Stranger Things 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray collection, which comes with some really cool goodies. I cannot wait to get it. I should be getting it towards the end of the month, and I can't wait to unbox it for you guys. So with all that being said, the media cabinet is closing for today, and we will see you next time when we open it again for another amazing video and another amazing unboxing. With all that being said, guys, we will see you next time. Bye for now.